Okay, so we got our finished tables. I've taken off most of the glue residue. Whatever I haven't taken off is just going to get primed over. We got this stall here. I did notice I burned the paper a little bit, getting the glue off. That's actually not bad. It will alter the texture. And I see if you do it again a little bit more, it'll actually start to smolder. You got to blow it out. And that will give you, set the whole bloody thing on fire. There we go. That will actually give you holes and rusty looking parts. Basically for free. Make sure I've actually put that out before it burns the whole bloody thing down. So as you can see, there's now a nice rusty hole all the way through that. So we're going to base them. We're actually going to do the larger stall on the smaller base, because it's kind of the models are going to stand inside it if they're interacting with it. In order to anchor these 2 points here, and since I've got them, I'm going to use some more of these lovely cinder blocks. And I'm going to put one on the outside of each one to cement those legs down. But first, I'm going to glue the bottom down. So I'm not going to be super delicate with this. I don't mind a little extra hot glue underneath things. Get the glue on there, line it all up, and sploosh. I would recommend getting a piece of marble or something solid to do this on. This plastic table is kind of warped, so sometimes when I'm doing this, stuff doesn't really glue on the way I'd like it. So you can see I cut the corrugated a little short at the back here. So you've got to be careful not to let the glue escape. But, you know, again, it's a random terrain piece. This isn't the centerpiece of anything. And now, one leg is a little short because I don't measure very at all. I'm going to put a bead of hot glue under each leg. And then while those are gluing, I'm going to glue a little 3D print cinder block to each one. The hard part of this is touching it and turning it in your fingers without touching the hot glue. What that will do is that will anchor those down really good. This one I'm going to go this way to give me the most surface contact. So you see they're both now going to be, once that sets up and the glue cools down, they're all going to be much more firmly locked in place. It's a bit of a mess under the front here, so I'm thinking about putting like a fascia board on it. I've got a piece of thing here that will cover some of the bottom shelf, so maybe I should use something else. I am officially out of craft sticks. So let's cut a piece of chipboard. Let's see, how's that? I always have a problem gluing little skinny stuff like this together. So I'm actually going to cheat, because cheating is how you win in modeling. I'm going to take a little centerpiece here, and I'm going to glue it in the middle to give it something to rest against. And push that down into the glue. Booyah. I think I'm going to do a little one at each end as well to really lock it up. So again, fold up my feet. Got my blob of hot glue in each end, and I'm going to take my little piece of foam core and push it in until it's all the way under the shelf, so that it won't show while supporting the piece I'm using as a fascia. And they said I couldn't be a cabinet maker. So now I've got those 3 fascia holders in. Going to run a big fat bead of hot glue over them. I'm going to take my fascia board and pop it in there. Make sure it's fully contacting those foam bits. Get all the lumps of hot glue out, which will come off my hands mostly. Strings. And now you see it's a lot tidier under there. You can still see it from the back, but you know, that's how it is. So I would be tempted to do another rust hole in this, but this particular kind of corrugate seems to be really inflammable. It's a bit boring on the back, so we're going to just add some scrap. Like they've had to fix it. I don't like unbroken surfaces. And also that will help me hide the glue ball under there. So I don't like big plain unrepaired surfaces that look like you just threw this together. There we go. So there's that one. And I think I'm going to put a piece across here, like they had to brace several sheets together or something. There we go. And that breaks up the monotony of one material. I just noticed this piece of chipboard warped a bit when I painted it, but I'll live with that. So there you go. That's that one based. Very simple. Once you prime it, which I'm going to do and then show you guys the results, you can then fill it up with all kinds of goods or leave it bare. I guess it could be a really crappy bunk bed for very skinny people. But we got this other one. Make sure the chipboard's a bit flatter this time. This one's easy. Blob of hot glue. Blob of hot glue. I stuck another piece of foam core in there just to give it a little more purchase. And smack it down on the base. Make sure your feet have got lots of contact. Already rock solid. There's your market stand. I was actually thinking about doing this the other way around, so that the Mini could actually stand all on this, but I forgot. Can I get it off again without wrecking it? Yes! That's another nice thing about hot glue. Until it's really fully set, in fact, even after it's fully set, you can kind of peel it off, but you have to work at it. And there we go. Get that off there. That I'll have to melt off, I think. And need a little assistance getting off the bottom of this. Alright, let's try that again. So I'm just going to remelt the hot glue there and add a little more. Do that over again. Now you can pin stuff like the barrel or rough it up before you put the glue on. So actually what I was going to do is do it that way. So if I want, I can add like an overhang, but this gives Bob and all his other little merchants a place to stand behind. I could put a turret or something, and that is a huge table. That is like fit for multiple human sacrifices. So maybe this will be a super mutant table, although it's a bit short. Alright, we're going to let those set up. I'm going to prime them. I'm going to then show you how to do the basing on them. It's very, very simple. So for basing mix, I was using the Gale Force 9 brown mix. I had the very fine, and then I had some of the slightly more coarse, along with the pebbles, all mixed up together. But that stuff's kind of expensive. I also like little random bits of crap end up in here. So I went to Walmart and I bought some of these Estes Repterra premium substrate for reptiles. It's in the fish tank section. It's sand for hermit crabs and reptiles and stuff that like to dig around in it. And being as it's all getting painted anyway, it doesn't matter what color it is. So I'm going to add some of this to what I already had left, which is actually going to make it slightly coarser than it was before. But I don't think anybody's going to be sitting there with a micrometer checking my sand. Get a little bit of a mix. In fact, we'll do this the easy way. Just make sure the lid is all the way on. There we go. See, there's my basing compound, all nicely mixed up. I do not understand what Gale Force 9 used these triangle containers, but I am totally going to turn that into a large turret base or something. So, got your basing compound. You'll need a basing compound catcher. And I use turbo tacky glue because it has turbo in the title, and I'm 5. And all I do is we'll start with a little one. I take my item. I take a paintbrush who's given up on life, and my glue. And if I can get the tub open, I blob some glue down. This is very technical, so pay attention. Put the cap back on so it doesn't leak, because I keep it face down so it'll actually flow. And then I take my paintbrush that's given up on life, and I rub glue over everything. And I usually try and get up onto the edges of my feet a little bit. One, because it helps disguise the fact that there is an edge. And two, I'm going to do it anyway by accident, so I may as well do it on purpose first. Okay, so now everything's all nice and gluey. You take your tub, full of basing mix, and normally for a larger building, I mean this will hold like a large Plasticville house on a full sheet of chipboard. I just lob my now brand new and improved mix over everything. Make sure to get all the way under and all the way on the edges, and then wipe the excess off the bottom if you are clumsy with the glue. Give it a few taps, and it's a little coarser than I had before, but that should do fine. And we'll do the same again. Excuse me, dog. We'll do the same again with this one. Got the glue. I'm actually going to leave the area all the way under the front, swept clean. It'll probably get a little glue, not a lot, and you can't really get, put a couple of little spots of glue in there, but I want it to stay like somebody's been taking care of it, because they want people to come look at their junk. For sale. No, wait, let me rephrase that. So, again, no straight lines, because straight lines are for the manufactured ages, and this is the age of remanufacturing. Also, I can't do straight lines on anything. And we'll just do a little under the corners there, but there's really not enough floor at the back to justify it. Glob or something that going on there. Alright, got a little dirt there. Throw that in the water. Get my tub of dirt. And then just like they used to say in the old Brute commercials, splash it all over. Rocks. Tiny, tiny rocks. And a little more on that side. And there we go. Now see, it's covered it a little thicker than I wanted. So you take your finger and you scuff it and you love it and you call it George. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of glue on those other bits. They'll get used again. And I've sort of thinned it out with some foot traffic. And when that glue sets up, it will be virtually invisible. See, I put too much on this cinder block. The glue got a little higher than I wanted. Alright, we're going to let those dry, and then I'm going to prime them, as long as it doesn't start raining. And actually, let's scuff this up a bit. Somebody has been standing here after all. There we go. And the nice thing about using this big tray is when you're done, you just pour all your little clumpy bits and tiny bits of debris that have fallen off your project, and you put it right back in the box. Alright, we'll let those dry and prime them, and we'll come back to you.